Most people define success by the noise that follows it, but a Sigma male understands that the loudest celebration usually signals the end of progress, not the beginning. While the Alpha seeks a throne to sit upon and the average man seeks a crowd to applaud his efforts, the Sigma exists in a category of his own, operating with a quiet competence that makes his eventual arrival feel like an overnight explosion to the outside world. He doesn't need to tell you he's winning because the results eventually speak a language that requires no translation. If you stay until the end of this video, you will understand the strategic machinery behind this success silence. You'll learn how to weaponize the information vacuum and why starving your need for dopamine is the ultimate competitive advantage in a world addicted to attention. Number 1, he refuses your external validation. Most people are trapped in a cycle of performance for praise, where their motivation is entirely dependent on how an audience reacts to their milestones. This is a fundamental flaw. It creates a fragile foundation where your goals can be toppled by a single critic or a moment of silence. This isn't just a personality trait, it's a matter of psychological sovereignty. By outsourcing satisfaction to others, the average person loses control over their own internal reward system. A Sigma male understands this instinctively and replaces public validation with internal standards of excellence that are completely immune to your praise or your silence. He knows that if he doesn't need your good job, you have no emotional leverage over him. It is like building a fortress on a private island rather than a stage in a public square. The tide of public opinion can rise or fall, but his structure remains unmoved. By remaining emotionally consistent, he avoids the exhausting roller coaster of public engagement, allowing him to win through pure, uninterrupted focus. But refusing validation is only the first step, because once a man stops seeking your approval, he begins to remove the very target most people use to take him down. Sign number 2, he strategically removes your target point. Most people have an almost biological urge to broadcast their wins the moment they occur, but visibility is synonymous with vulnerability. When the average man announces a breakthrough, he inadvertently creates a focal point for the jealousy, resentment, and active opposition of those around him. This isn't just social friction, it is a neurological reality that humans are wired to notice and often track those who are rising too quickly. A Sigma male understands that public success acts as a beacon for predators and competitors alike. He chooses to operate in a state of success silence to achieve high-level outcomes without painting a target on his back. While others are busy defending their newly announced positions from critics and saboteurs, the Sigma is already miles ahead because nobody knew he was running the race. He is the submarine moving beneath the surface, undetectable, heavily armed, and immune to the storms raging above. By the time his results are visible, he has already built an unstoppable momentum, forcing his competitors to react to a finished product rather than interfering with his progress. Sign number 3. He maintains a state of strategic ambiguity to preserve his freedom. The crowd loves to label things because what is labeled can be predicted and controlled. Most people spend their lives building a rigid public identity, effectively locking themselves into a cage of their own making. If they change their mind or pivot their career, they feel a desperate need to explain themselves to an audience that doesn't actually care. This psychological identity trap kills the flexibility required for true growth. The Sigma male chooses to remain a ghost in the machine. He refuses to signal his rank or his next move, ensuring he can never be boxed into a specific role or expectation. This causes a subtle fear in others. They realize they cannot sabotage or strategize against a move they do not know is being made. It is like a grand master who keeps his hand hidden until the final checkmate is delivered. By refusing to provide a measuring stick for his progress, he maintains total optionality, shifting industries or goals with zero social friction. If you find this level of autonomy resonates with your own path, consider leaving a comment below about a time your silence was your greatest strength. But even more than flexibility, his silence serves a deeper purpose. It protects the very fuel that drives his ambition. Sign number 4. He starves the dopamine needs that kill most men's hunger. There is a fatal flaw in the way the average man handles achievement. He celebrates too early. When a person publicly announces a win, the brain receives a premature dopamine hit that tricks the subconscious into believing the mission is already complete. This social reality phenomenon effectively kills the metabolic hunger required to reach the next level. While the alpha intelligence of an audience might require the immediate reward of an audience's gaze, the sigma stays silent to keep his drive lethal. He treats his internal energy like a pressurized tank. He refuses to vent the steam just to hear the whistle blow. Instead, he directs every ounce of that pressure toward the next objective. While others are still hosting victory parties for minor milestones, the Sigma has already finished the next 2 phases of the operation. He reaches the summit while the crowd is still celebrating the halfway point, using his unspent emotional energy to cover more ground than is socially expected. This relentless focus on substance over performance eventually leads to a gap in results that no amount of talking can bridge.
Sign number 5. He prioritizes raw results over the performance of success. The average man spends a staggering amount of his creative energy performing the role of a winner rather than actually winning. He focuses on the optics, the expensive watch, the LinkedIn announcement, or the visible hustle because he craves the immediate social rank that comes with appearing successful. This performance is a massive drain on resources. Every ounce of energy spent signaling status is energy stolen from the actual production of value. This creates a competence gap where the persona is larger than the actual person. A Sigma male completely disrupts these expectations by centering his entire focus on the systems and decision makers that move the needle. He realizes that an audience of thousands has zero material impact on his future compared to the 1 or 2 high-level individuals who control the access to his goals. He treats his career like a deep-sea drilling operation. There is no cheering section 1,000 feet below the surface, only the cold, hard substance of the extraction. While his peers are wasting time performing for their high school friends, the Sigma is quietly securing the respect of the only people who actually matter to his objectives. This lack of performance causes fear in the crowd because they realize they have no way to buy his attention with their applause. Sign number 6. He exploits the information vacuum to remain underestimated. Silence is a strategic weapon because it creates a void that others are forced to fill with their own assumptions. Most people are terrified of being misunderstood, so they over-explain their capabilities and telegraph their milestones to ensure everyone knows exactly how powerful they are. By doing this, they hand their competitors a measuring stick. They provide the exact blueprint needed for others to gauge their limits and anticipate their next move. The Sigma male understands that being underestimated is the greatest strategic advantage one can possess. By refusing to signal his rank or reveal his current milestones, he ensures that no one truly knows where they stand in relation to him. This breaks the traditional power balance. When you don't know the depth of the water, you hesitate to jump in. He is the iceberg in a shipping lane. Only 10% of his true mass is ever visible, while the 90% below the surface is what eventually sinks the opposition. This year, while others are providing a roadmap of their progress, he is using their underestimation to catch them off guard, securing high-level opportunities they didn't think he was ready for yet. If you have ever felt the power of being the dark horse in a room, you know exactly why this works. Sign number 7. He understands that silence allows his returns to compound without interruption. The most common mistake of the modern achiever is the social cash-out. Every time the average person hits a small milestone, they immediately trade that progress for social currency, praise, likes, or status. This acts like a withdrawal from a high-interest account. It resets the momentum and prevents the achievement from reaching its full potential. They interrupt the growth of their legacy for a momentary shot of ego. A Sigma male refuses to cash out early. He allows his quiet wins to build on one another in total isolation, creating a compounding effect that is mathematically impossible for the public performer to match. He isn't looking for a quick payout of attention. He is building a dominant long-term position that is undeniable by the time it finally surfaces. It is the difference between a firecracker that makes a loud noise and a silent tectonic shift that moves an entire continent. By the time the world finally notices what he has created, it is already too late for them to challenge or sabotage it. He builds a track record that isn't just impressive, it's unstoppable. The silence of a Sigma male isn't a lack of achievement, it is the ultimate expression of control. While the world burns its energy seeking the fleeting warmth of a spotlight, he builds a fire that burns from within, fueled by internal standards that the crowd can neither grant nor take away. This refusal to cash out for social currency is what makes his progress exponential and his presence disruptive. His strength is far too deep for a public stage, and his victory is far too substantial for a mere celebration. By the time they realize he's won, he has already redefined the game. He doesn't need your applause to know he is a king. He only needs the results that his silence has already secured. True power doesn't need to be announced. It only needs to be felt. Thank you so much for watching.